Public service announcement to kick things off then. If you don't want any transfer window spoilers and you just want to be able to go through the entire transfer window from beginning to end, I live streamed that here on this channel yesterday. It's now available as a 3-hour video on demand. So if you want to enjoy that at your leisure, you might want to come back to this video afterwards, because the very first thing we're going to do in this video is recap those transfers. If you don't want to watch the long stream, don't worry, I'm recapping it now, but some people like to watch the whole stream first. Yeah. Importantly, we're about to play our first ever game in the Sir Tom Elliot Arena. Hello and welcome to part 142 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are going to recap those summer transfers. We're going to have a look at the Sir Tom Elliot Arena, and then we're going to play our first game of the new Premier League season at home against Blackburn. So firstly, let's have a look at those transfers. I actually think in the end, it's been a good transfer window. We didn't achieve our main goal of the transfer window, which was sign a Premier League quality centre-back. If you watched the stream yesterday, you will know how hard we tried. Such a man does not exist. We could not get a 4-star centre-back in, no matter how hard we tried. But we have strengthened in some other key areas, got some useful squad players, not disrupted the dynamics too much. And I think a whole year of the majority of these players having played together, learning English, gelling as a team, I think the squad we put together last summer should perform better this season than last. That's what I'm gambling on anyway. So these are the transfers. We'll start off as ever with looking at who's left the club. So a few familiar faces have left for not really very much money. Paul Earle, Daniel Higgins, Levi Hayes, Michael Jones, Clement Bahiri, Sam Griffiths was still at the club. Nicola Galliano was still at the club. Josh Llewellyn, Scott Eylis, Josh Egan, and Jose Venner as well has gone for £3.1 million, which happened after the transfer window stream ended, literally like just after. So £9 million off of players leaving, got rid of a lot more of the deadwood, a lot more of the championship promotion team, some of the players who were causing some of the dynamics problems by, for example, Levi Hayes expecting first team football, but not actually being good enough to warrant first team football. Moving on then to the players who've joined, and I think this one had been arranged in the last episode, but just to confirm, Enoch Nuhu is now a permanent Nuneaton player. He was our top scorer, best player last season, and we brought him in from Bayern Munich permanently for £5 million, so he is now a Nuneaton player. And he's got some competition for places as the attacking midfielder. Obviously, already got Wagner competing with him in that role, but also new boy Jim McAllister, who's 22 years old, current Scottish international, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, comes in from Celtic for £8.75 million. He's a natural as an attacking midfielder or central midfielder, and I think central midfielder is probably where we're going to end up playing him, with Wagner and Nuhu battling it out for the attacking midfielder position, but you know, he'll probably end up being a star as an attacking midfielder for us now. He's had a few good seasons at Celtic. We've actually signed him for less than what Celtic paid for him, so I think we've done some good business there. Not as good as this piece of business though. Our new backup keeper, Alejandro Oliveira, 21-year-old current Uruguay international who we've brought in on a free transfer, and he is a 4-star current ability goalkeeper with 5-star potential. He is already Vujicic standard. He's younger than Vujicic. We could have two very, very good goalkeepers on our hands going into this season, and there's going to be some proper competition for places in a position where I never expected there to be any competition for places. Our new striker, or one of them, is Kieran Kerr, another one to come in from Scotland, another current Scottish international, 22 years old, 3.5-star current ability and 3.5-star potential. So we're not expecting him to get any better, but he's already quick, he's already a good finisher, and he's been scoring goals for fun up in the Scottish Premiership. 21 goals last year, 22 goals the season before for Dundee. Comes in as comfortably the best striker we've currently got at the club. Mitch Dos Santos is a utility man to play at the back for us. This is although he's only in on loan, he's a long-term one where I'm hoping, similar to what we've done with Nuhu this year, if he turns out to be any good, we can bring him in permanently next summer. He's 22-year-old Dutch under-21 international, 3-star current ability, so as good as any centre-back we've got at the club at the moment, but has 4.5-star potential and is also comfortable playing left-back and right-back. So it's allowed us to be a little bit more flexible with the defenders we pick in our 25-man Premier League squad, because he can offer cover on either side at fullback as well. Dennis Jensen was a bit of a panic buy when we realised we weren't going to be able to register more than 3 strikers and stay within the foreign player limits on the squad. So we've actually ended up having to sell Venner and Kraljevic. Kraljevic is on the transfer list now because neither of them were going to be able to be registered because they're not homegrown players. Dennis Jensen is a homegrown player, although he's a current Danish international. He's been playing in England for ages with Bournemouth. He's not exactly been setting the world alight at Bournemouth, but he was specifically mentioned in the build-up to this match as a new signing who's excited the fans and is expecting to bring new people into the club. He's a decent Premier League player. He's never really had an opportunity to be a regular starter. And for £9.5 million, he's better than Sean Hull, who would have been our other option as a fourth striker in the squad. We've not been able to register Venner or Kraljevic, so we kind of panicked a little bit and brought him in. Similar to what we've done with Damir Kulikov, who's a current Russian international, 24-year-old centre-back. 3-star current ability, no potential to improve. I was worried because we didn't have enough centre-backs. We'd already sold Jones. We had brought in Dos Santos, but I'd kind of got him in my mind as cover at right-back because Persson is only a 2-star player and really shouldn't be playing in our team. So Dos Santos is kind of a utility player for the whole back four. Kulikov is our proper fourth centre-back that we've got in the team. And I think we have quite a decent, well-balanced squad now. If we look through, we've got 2 good goalkeepers. Carrascal is a good right back. Oanda is an even better right back, although we play him in midfield. And Dos Santos can cover in both of those positions. Robinson and Joksimovic are both Premier League standard left backs. And then at centre-back, although we've not got that one standout 4-star player, we do have a lot of players with potential. Dos Santos at 4.5 stars, Brodic 5-star, Holmqvist's 4-star potential, Taggart's 3.5-star potential. It's not going to do them any harm to have another season playing regularly in the Premier League. And hopefully Brodic, maybe Holmqvist, start to emerge as, okay, let's move that current ability on a little bit more. Maybe by the end of the season, Brodic is a 4-star player. That would be marvellous. Moving into the midfield, I think we've got 6 good options at central midfield. Hayes, Mulan, Oanda, Fazio is signed on loan for another season. Stojanovic as well, and plus Jim McAllister, who we've signed him to play in midfield, but can also play as an attacking midfielder where he'll compete with Nuhu and Wagner. Also, all 3 of them can play as strikers as well, although not particularly convincingly. And up front, we've got Kerr, Jensen, Nogueira, and Nikola Lazic is the one from last season who we've decided to keep around in addition to Nogueira, purely because he's got 4.5-star potential. He did look good in that last episode of last season, and if he can start to fulfil some of that potential, with him being a little bit younger as well, we could have a bit of a star on our hands. So, that's the team. Finance-wise, we're doing okay. We're still in the black. We've still got budget left in both areas. If we have a look at the board expectations and the season preview, as it has for the last 2 years, is expecting us to finish rock bottom in the Premier League. We can live with that. We can defy expectations. The board, for the 3rd season in a row, are just looking for me to battle bravely against relegation. So once again, I'm not going to get fired if we go down, but I actually feel quite confident that we're not going to go down this season. I think we've got a decent squad. Dynamics is still not perfect, although we've got a good, very good dressing room atmosphere, and at least we're not below average on match cohesion anymore. What we do need is someone to step up and become a team leader for us. That man needs to be Oanda, really. He's already a highly influential player. He's already our captain. We need both him and Nuhu to step up into those team leader roles, and maybe the likes of Vujicic, Hayes, Fazio, Nogueira, players who've been around for a little while, have them move on to be highly influential players as well and start to get some of that dynamics boost that we've been missing over the last few years. And then lastly, before we get into that first game, we do have our new stadium, the Sir Tom Elliot Arena. We renamed it using the instructions that Second Yellow Card put on his video that he released. Future Kev, please try and remember to link to that down in the description. If Future Kev forgot, step 1 is tell him in the comments. Step 2, though, if you want to find out straight away, if you just search Second Yellow Card rename stadium on YouTube, that's what I did. It takes you straight to his tutorial. It was really easy, took about 2 minutes. And what was the Nuneaton Stadium is now correctly named the Sir Tom Elliot Arena. It's only got a 16,500 capacity, and we've already sold pretty much all of those season tickets. Somewhere on here it tells you, doesn't it? There you go. We've got 16,647 season ticket holders in a stadium that holds 16,651. So we've got room in our stadium for 4 away fans. That just doesn't seem right. How is that allowed? But we have got an 8,000 seat expansion that's going on and should be done by midway through next season. So we're going to be on a slightly reduced capacity from the Brian Clough Arena in Nottingham, where we've been playing for the last 2 years. We're going to be on a slight reduction for the next year, but then should get up to a similar sort of size stadium, around about 24,000. And then if we need to push on from there, we can push on from there. So let's have a look at what our team is going to be for this first day of the season and hopefully start things off with a win. And this is why I'm feeling confident, because for the first time in a long time, certainly first time since we've been in the Premier League, there is a very familiar look to our team on the first game of the new season. We've not got a whole load of new players in there. It's the team that finished last season quite strongly. And hopefully we can continue in that form, starting with Blackburn, which really, Blackburn at home is a game we should be winning. So we're going with Vujicic in goal, a back four of Robinson, because Joksimovic is still suspended from the end of last season. Brodic, Taggart and Carousel as our back four. Oanda, Fazio and Hayes in midfield, with Nuhu in behind Nogueira and new boy Kieran Kerr. The other new boys, Oliveira, McAllister, Jensen, Kulikov, they're all down on the bench. So we will get the opportunity to see those if the game doesn't really go our way. But we are going with our usual control and team instructions that we've been using all the way through this save, really. Let's give some squad numbers out. Splendid stuff. And hopefully get out there, do a good showing against Blackburn and start this season off as we mean to go on. I know the media and the board are just expecting us to be in a relegation battle all year. As far as I'm concerned, this needs to be the year where we have a comfortable mid-table finish, where we're not flirting with relegation the whole time. We've got our shiny new stadium with the spirit of Sir Tom looking down on us. He's not dead, but with Sir Tom Elliot looking down on us from his... presumably he gets a free executive box for life, and hopefully we can play like a team of Sir Toms every time we're in this stadium. Let's make the Sir Tom Elliot Arena a fortress. It looks very shiny. And I assume the 8,000 seats that we're adding, even though you can't see any work being done, someone did say on the stream yesterday, because it's not reducing the capacity while we're adding these 8,000 seats on. So we're not knocking Nuhu with a beauty of a free kick. We're not knocking any of it down to expand, so presumably we're just filling in the corners to add 2,000 seats in each corner, which would make sense. That's your typical first port of call for expansion capacity. And hopefully we've got the expansion capacity to stick another tier on top of each of the stands as well as we go on, because we don't want to be needing another stadium expansion in 5 seasons' time when we're a Champions League club, because we will be a Champions League club in 5 seasons' time. Kerr to Nuhu, it's with Nogueira to Hayes. Through to Nuhu, we're knocking the ball around nicely in our midfield. Kerr back to Hayes again. We look like a proper Nuneaton team now, not like the nonsense from the last few years. Nogueira finds himself wide, squares it into Oanda, who finds Nuhu. Nuhu tries to grab his second of the game, but can't quite test the keeper. But it was a lovely free kick from Nuhu early on. And starts, we mean to go on with Nuhu. Let's grab some goals. He's got a lot of competition for his spot in the team this year from McAllister and Wagner. And he needs to carry on being our best player like he was last year and keep scoring goals at the rate he was last year as well. If we can get another 10 to 15 goals out of Nuhu this season, plus have the likes of Kerr, Nogueira, Jensen, maybe have 1 or 2 of them weigh in with 15, 20 goals of their own, then I think that's the difference maker. As much as we have all criticised the defence over the last couple of years, if we'd have had a striker who scored 15 or 20 goals last season, we'd have finished mid-table. Because that was the difference. Our top scoring striker had about 7 goals. Double that, and we win more games that we previously drew. We draw more games that we previously lost. That's the difference maker that we need. We're still going to concede a lot of goals this year while we still learn to defend. But we just need to score a few more. Nuhu again trying from range. He perhaps needs to not try and do it all by himself. We have got goal threats ahead of him. Nogueira scored some important goals towards the tail end of last season, and Kerr has been prolific up in Scotland, although it has been rubbish today. Let's bring Dennis Jensen on and see if he's any good. He's got maybe 10 goals in the last 5 seasons of playing in the Premier League, but he hasn't really been given much opportunity. Most of these appearances are off the bench. He's not yet had a season in the Premier League where he's started more. And there he goes. First season he started 13 games. It's the only season he's ever started more than 10 games. He's never been any good. Perhaps this is the season he becomes good. He's still only 24 and is a decent goal return for Denmark, where he's played a lot of internationals already. We're going to take Fazio off and bring on McAllister as well, and have a look at him in that midfield. Defence, the deep line playmaker is where I'm thinking he slots in initially, but we might use him as a roaming playmaker. I haven't actually seen if he can do Carrilero. Should we have a little look? Is he any good as a Carrilero? No. So we keep him that way round. Have we got a final substitution to make to try and secure this victory? We don't want to mess with the defence too much. Mulan is a defending midfield player, so I guess he's the sensible one to come on. Do we swap those two around? Make him a ball-winning midfielder? We're going to make him a ball-winning midfielder for these last 10 minutes, just to get in there with some crunching tackles and hopefully just help us see out a victory. A second goal would be very pleasant, though, if we could grab one from somewhere. And it's with Nuhu, but he can't find a blue shirt. Mulan heads down to Rwanda with McAllister. Our first real look at McAllister. Finds its way through to Nguera, but Taggart has to intercept again from the Bournemouth ball forward. And it's with Mulan to McAllister. The midfield three are looking very, very narrow, and there's not much width coming from those fullbacks at the moment. And there's your typical ball over the top, and it's squared. And Vujicic makes the save. Good work, Vujicic. He's got competition for places this year. I'm hoping we're going to see him step up his performances, although he was obviously superb for most of last season, making more saves last year than any previous Nuneaton keeper in their career. But he has another keeper breathing down his neck who's as good as he is and younger and has better potential. So he's going to have to really step up his game to maintain his starting spot. Nuhu plays it forward to Nguera, and with 7 seconds left on the clock, Nguera just needs to keep hold of it. But he actually beats his man, but then can't beat him a second time. He kind of beat him and slowed down. But no one cares because we've won 1-0. That was the important thing. We've got the Sir Tom Elliot Arena after a winning start, and do that 10 more times this season and we stay in the Premier League for a third season in a row, and then we can build on that. That I am taking as a positive start to the season. Huzzah! If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.